What if I told you that the biggest mistake you're making with your potatoes happens before they even touch the soil? It's a single, simple step that most gardeners overlook, and it's the difference between a decent harvest and pulling out bucket after bucket of massive potatoes. Many people think growing great potatoes is all about the soil or the fertilizer, but the real secret starts weeks before planting day. Today, we're revealing the pre-planting secret that can literally double your yield, make your plants stronger, and get you to that delicious harvest much faster. Stick with me, and I promise you'll never look at a seed potato the same way again. So, are you ready to unlock your garden's true potential? For generations, the ritual has been the same. You buy a bag of seed potatoes, you dig a trench, and you drop them in, hoping for the best. This approach is essentially a game of chance. You're putting a dormant tuber into cold, damp soil and asking it to wake up and perform a miracle. The potato's life force is stored within it, waiting to emerge from those little dimples we call eyes. Each eye holds the potential for a new stem, which will eventually produce new potatoes. But when you plant a sleeping potato, it can spend weeks underground just trying to figure out which way is up, fighting off rot and soil-borne diseases. It's an inefficient, slow, and risky start. We're going to change that. Instead of leaving it to chance, we're going to take control of the process and wake those potatoes up before they ever get planted. So what is this revolutionary secret? It's a simple technique with a funny name, chitting. That's spelled C-H-I-T-T-I-N-G. Chitting is simply the process of encouraging your seed potatoes to sprout before you plant them. Think of it as a preschool for your potatoes. You're giving them a controlled, safe environment to start growing strong, sturdy shoots, so when they finally go into the ground, they are ready to explode with growth. This isn't about just leaving them in a dark cupboard until they grow long, pale, and weak sprouts. That's the wrong way. True chitting is a deliberate process that uses light to create robust, vigorous sprouts that are primed for success. This single step eliminates the guesswork and gives your plants a massive head start over weeds and pests. It's the closest thing to a guarantee for a fantastic harvest. Imagine a close-up shot showing a dormant, smooth potato right next to one that has short, thick, purple-green sprouts emerging from its eyes. But why exactly is chitting such a game changer? The benefits are immense. First, it acts as a quality control check. By chitting your potatoes, you can easily identify any duds that fail to sprout, so you don't waste precious garden space on a potato that was never going to grow. Second, it significantly shortens the time from planting to harvest. Because the sprouts are already developed, the plant emerges from the soil much faster, sometimes weeks earlier than an unchitted potato. This early vigorous growth allows the plant to establish a strong canopy of leaves quickly, which helps it to outcompete weeds for sunlight and nutrients. It also means the plant is less vulnerable to rot in cool, wet spring soil because it's actively growing rather than sitting dormant. Ultimately, a plant that spends less energy establishing itself underground can devote more energy to its main job, producing a massive amount of delicious tubers for you to enjoy. Imagine a split-screen animation showing the underground progress of a chitted versus a non-chitted potato, with the chitted one rapidly sending up shoots and roots. Of course, this whole process starts with selecting your champions. You can't expect great results from poor quality seed potatoes. Your first rule should be to always start with certified, disease-free seed potatoes from a reputable garden center or supplier. Avoid the temptation to just plant potatoes from the grocery store. These are often treated with sprout inhibitors to give them a longer shelf life, which is the exact opposite of what you want. When you're choosing them, look for potatoes that are firm and free of any soft spots, blemishes, or signs of rot. The ideal size is about that of a chicken egg. Potatoes this size can be planted whole, which reduces the risk of disease that can come with cutting them. If you can only find larger potatoes, that's okay. We'll talk about how to handle those in a moment. But the foundation of a double yield is a healthy, high-quality seed potato. You can show a visual comparison here. A hand holding a perfect egg-sized seed potato versus a shriveled, damaged, or grocery store potato with a warning sign. Once you have your champion potatoes, it's time to create the perfect sprouting environment. This is where most people get it wrong. You need a place that is cool but also bright. Direct, hot sunlight will dry out and cook your potatoes, so avoid a south-facing windowsill. Instead, find a spot like a cool porch. an unheated garage with a window, or a cool spare room. The ideal temperature is somewhere around 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, or 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. The best way to arrange them is rose end up. The rose end is the one with the highest concentration of eyes or buds. An old egg carton is the perfect tool for this job. Place one seed potato in each cup of the carton, with the rose end pointing up. This positioning encourages the strongest sprouts to grow upwards towards the light. If you have a lot of potatoes, you can also lay them in a single layer in a shallow tray or box. The key is to ensure they aren't piled on top of each other, allowing for good air circulation. A time-lapse video of potatoes sprouting in an egg carton over several weeks would be a fantastic visual here. Now let's bust a major myth. Many people think potatoes need darkness to sprout. While it's true that the tubers themselves develop in the darkness of the soil, the initial chits, or sprouts, need light. This is absolutely critical. Light is your ally in this process because it tells the sprouts to grow short, sturdy, and strong. In a bright, cool environment, your sprouts will be a healthy green or purple color, and they will be thick and robust, usually not more than an inch long. If you try to sprout your potatoes in the dark, like in a kitchen cupboard, they will think they are already buried. They will produce long, white, and extremely fragile sprouts that reach desperately for a light source. These pale, stringy sprouts are useless. They will almost certainly break off during the planting process, wasting all the energy the potato has put into growing them and setting your plant back significantly. Remember, darkness creates weak sprouts. Light creates strong sprouts. A powerful visual would be a side-by-side comparison. A potato with short, sturdy purple sprouts next to one with long, pale, weak sprouts, showing how easily the weak ones snap off. Timing is everything in gardening, and chitting is no exception. So, when should you start this process? The general rule of thumb is to begin chitting your potatoes about 4 to 6 weeks before your area's last expected frost date. This is the date you plan to put them in the ground. This 4 to 6 week window gives the potatoes ample time to wake up from dormancy and develop those ideal half-inch to 1-inch long sprouts we've been talking about. If you start too early, the sprouts might get too long and tangled. If you start too late, you won't get the full benefit of the head start. So grab your calendar, find your last frost date, and count back 6 weeks. That's your official potato chitting day. Mark it on your calendar. This simple bit of planning connects the technique directly to your personal gardening schedule and makes it feel much more manageable. You could show a calendar graphic with a finger pointing to a date, then counting back 6 weeks to circle the start chitting date. Now we need to address the great potato debate: to cut or not to cut. If you have large seed potatoes, cutting them into smaller pieces can be a great way to multiply your stock. Each piece can grow into a separate plant as long as it has at least 1 or 2 eyes. The ideal size for a cut piece is around a 2-ounce chunk, or about the size of a lime. However, cutting creates an open wound on the potato, which is an entry point for rot and disease once it's in the soil. So if you choose to cut, you must perform one more crucial step: curing. After you cut your potatoes, let the pieces sit out in a single layer at room temperature for 2 to 3 days. This allows the cut surface to dry and form a thick, protective skin. This skin acts like a scab, sealing off the wound and protecting the potato piece from pathogens in the soil. Never plant a freshly cut potato. Curing is not optional. It is essential for success if you're cutting. A clear demonstration of someone slicing a large potato, showing that each piece has 2 eyes, and then laying the pieces out to cure would be perfect here. Finally, planting day has arrived. Your soil is ready, the danger of hard frost has passed, and your chitted potatoes have short, sturdy, vibrant sprouts. All your preparation is about to pay off. The final step is to handle these potatoes with care. Treat them like delicate eggs. All the energy for that initial burst of growth is stored in those sprouts, and if you break them off, you've lost the entire advantage you worked so hard to create. Gently place each seed potato or cured piece into your prepared trench or hole with the sprouts pointing upwards towards the sky. This orientation helps the plant emerge from the soil as quickly as possible. Carefully cover them with soil, being mindful not to knock off the shoots. Because they are already awake and growing, these chitted potatoes will spring into action almost immediately, sending up strong green shoots in a fraction of the time it would take a dormant potato. You've just given your crop the best possible start in life. The ideal visual is a pair of gentle hands carefully placing a perfectly chitted potato into the soil, sprouts pointing up, followed by a shot of it being gently covered. So there you have it. The secret to a doubled harvest isn't some expensive, complicated chemical or a fancy new tool. It's patience and a little bit of biological know-how. It's about working with the potato's natural life cycle, not against it. By chitting your potatoes, you're transforming them from a dormant tuber into a well-prepared, eager-to-grow plant before it even touches the ground. By selecting good seed, giving it the right kind of light, timing it perfectly, and handling the results with care, you are setting the stage for a season of incredible success. This one simple change in your pre-planting routine will reward you with a faster, healthier, more vigorous crop. And yes, a harvest that can easily be double what you're used to. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you found this gardening secret helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips to get the most out of your garden. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever tried chitting your potatoes before? Share your results or any questions you have down below. Happy gardening!